So this is actually attempt number 2 at doing this. I recorded it once already, and that did not pan out. Turns out you gotta kind of get into a rhythm with it. But what on earth is this? This is normally the time of year where I'll throw up something on my Instagram. It's kind of some little throwaway thing. Here's everything I read over the course of the year, that sort of thing. But there's only so much you could do on an Instagram story. So I figured instead of subjecting my friends and family to another rant where I notice they glaze over halfway through, I do it this way. Give me some kind of outlet for it. I figured I'd do just some kind of like verbal journal of everything that I read, where I can go into a little more detail. But if you don't want to watch it, which I would imagine is probably the majority of people that follow me on Instagram, you can just completely skip it and act like this doesn't exist. And if for whatever reason, unbeknownst to myself or God, you do want to, there's this. What I'm going to do, though, is I read 18 different books over the course of 2025, and I figured that's nice and divisible by 3. So I'm going to go through them kind of in sets of 3, hopefully about 10 minutes or so at a time. I think, if I remember right from trying to submit stuff for college, YouTube actually will prevent you from uploading it if you're not verified, which I certainly am not if you go past a certain time limit. So I'm going to try to keep these kind of brief. As far as like an overview of everything, which is more or less what this video is, before I actually get into these specific books. As far as the last couple of years are concerned, I feel like they've been a couple of my most productive years reading-wise, apart from maybe the first year where I actually got back into reading, which was 2019, 2020, somewhere in there. Big reason for that, as far as last year is concerned, I kind of accidentally stumbled into it. I read a lot of stuff that I felt really expanded my understanding of what a book can actually do. I feel like certain mediums are better for certain things. You can do certain things with, first of all, if you see me doing that, I keep on having to keep my Mac. I'm recording this on a 10-year-old MacBook. Sorry for the quality and the fact that I keep having to do that. But back to that. I feel like there's certain things that you can do with a book that you can't do with a movie, and that you can do with a movie that you can't do with a song, and so on and so on. But I ended up reading Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf early on last year, and got into the whole modernist stream of consciousness stuff and all that, and accidentally followed that up with The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner. And I remember at one point, I think I was reading it somewhere when I was out with my dad, and he asked me what I was reading, yada yada, that sort of thing, and I told him that I thought it was maybe my least favorite thing that I'd ever read. I was about 20 pages into it at that point, and I came to it. I don't know if I'd say it's in my top 5, but it's one of my favorite things I've read now, because once I got past that initial roadblock, the initial challenge of it all, because it is a very challenging book, out of that same vein as Miss Dalloway, but more so. Once you get past that, you really do, it clicks, and you start to see, okay, here's what you can actually do with a book. You can really get into the headspace of a character in a way that no other art form, I guess, can really do. And then even past that, I got into Gravity's Rainbow, which pushed that to the absolute limit, and for a set of reasons that I'm not going to get into here, I cannot in good conscience recommend to anybody actually reading that. But if you're really looking for a challenge and you don't mind some insensitivities, I guess, that's a book that you can read. As far as this year is concerned, I feel like this is another pretty productive year. This is the first year where I ever actually reread anything. This was also a year where I tried to break into some more philosophy, and I tried to break that up with some lighter things here and there, which didn't pan out incredibly well, because a lot of things that I initially thought were going to be lighter ended up having pretty heavy undertones beneath the surface. But all in all, I thought this was a pretty productive year. Rather than yap too much about this year in this overview video, I figured I'd just let the actual specific videos do that. So I'm going to stop my yapping here, and I guess the next video that you may or may not be seeing will be that.